Okay, it's now recording. So welcome to today's tutorial. We'll be continuing with the question paper where we left off. So question 4, it's a question based on design. So you're going to be doing a lot of design in question 4. And then question 5, it's code. So yeah, we're just going to do those two questions, and then we can, in the last tutorial, we'll go through question 1. So let me check because some students don't mute. Okay. So let's continue where we left off. So question 4. So write your answers in the answer book provided. Draw a circuit diagram to represent the following logical expressions. So you're supposed to draw a diagram which represents this logical expression, basically that expression. Basically explain that or show that expression in design form, right? I'm sure you guys are used to doing if statements and things like that. So here they don't want the code. They want the design of how it would look when you're using a circuit diagram. So we have symbols to represent all of these things. So not has its own symbol, XOR has its own symbol, AND has its own symbol, OR has its own symbol. So the way I want you to approach this problem, right, is start from the left. You're gonna do this part first. Then do this part in brackets again. Then at the end, we're gonna do the end. So let's start by the left parenthesis or the left brackets. So I'm gonna go to dear, and then you're gonna click on, you see where it says UML. You're gonna click on that and then select logic, because we want to do circuit diagrams which represent our logical expression. So we have inverter, which is the NOT, and then we have the NAND gate, the NOT gate, and then XOR gate, AND gate, OR gate. So we're basically gonna use, you see these gates that are here, the top, the first three, and this one. Those are the ones that we definitely gonna use. And then, yeah, I don't know about the other ones. So let's get started. Hopefully this person is muted. Let me check. Okay. Yeah, it's very important to mute before you enter the session so that you don't disturb the people who are currently in the session. And you also don't disturb my train of thought. So let's start with this one. So not A. So right, we need to have not A first, because you see what's inside parentheses, right? What's the main, if you look at here, what's the main thing or the main operator, right? It's XOR, right? So that's the main thing. So it means not of this XOR B. So I'm gonna start with not A, right? So let me do that. So XOR, let me think about it. XOR, yeah. This diagram thing is a bit tricky. Hopefully we can. So not A, so let me put this, right? Okay, so the lines, okay, I see. So we have not of this, XO, okay. So what I'm going to do, right, before I put that operator, I'm going to do this. If you look at this question, like I said, what's the main operator? It's XOR. So which is exclusive OR. So XOR exclusive OR. So I'm gonna take the gate for that. There's the exclusive OR, right? I don't know why why does it look weird? Okay, it's fine. So XOR, and then I need to have lines. So I need to have this line. Can't I put a line here? Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go to put the line. Can I put it? Nah. So you have to switch back from logic to UML because I don't see the line here. And then take a line. No, this is not the one. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not really experienced in this thing. I'm sure you can see now. You can see that. Let me see. Auto route. There's no. Yeah, let me look for the line. Or maybe should I use, let me check. Let me check a different diagram. A different software for drawing the diagrams. I don't know. Where's the, how do you put the line here? This is weird. Create a new diagram, create, save, um, replace, and then cancel. So let me see. There should be, uh, I don't see the logic here. Advanced, do, 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 do. Oh, I must click on more shapes. And then after clicking more shapes, mm, is it electrical? Yeah. So it's electrical under electrical. Click on that and then apply. So so I need logic gates. So we have AND, we have the buffer, we have the inverter, which stands for NOT. Yeah, so I don't know how they showed you in class how to use dear. You guys have to find out how to use that because, yeah, I don't know how to put the right lines. Let me see. Yeah, it's too thick. So, yeah, using dear for me is kind of a problem. So let me leave that. So we're gonna use this one called draw.io. So with draw.io, we have this uh, inverting contact, blah, blah. Okay. So if you go back to our, remember I said we start with what's in the brackets first. On the left side, we have those that everything this is everything inside the brackets. So we look for the main operator, right? Which is XOR. That's the main one. Because this one just inverts. It just means not. But the main one is this one. So XOR, so we start with that one. To make your life easier, start with that one. So XOR, where is it? Yeah, it's this one. So you're gonna have XOR here. There it is, right? It's XOR and then XOR and then, or it's XOR of what? Of not A. So I need to put not A on one of the lines. So on one of the lines, I mean on one of these lines over here to represent that. So I'm gonna put so I need to put a not A. So not A, remember the inverter, this is the not, right? To invert. If you check even in dear, if you go to logic, you'll see there's the inverter, right? Inverter just means to invert or to do the opposite. Basically not. It's a fancy way to say not. So let me see, can't I put in line style? Um, how do you put a line here? It would have been easier to do in dear, since that I think that's what's expected for you guys to use. So I'm gonna put the knot, right? Put it here, link it here. I don't know. Yeah, this is horrible. Yeah, okay, I managed to link it. So this will be not of what? Of A. So I need to put A here to say invert A before passing it into X or R here. So this would be not A. And then the second part, it's just B. So that one is pretty straightforward. So let me see if can't I stretch it a bit? Yeah. I can, and then I'm gonna change this. Where's the shape? Is it here? Yeah, and I think I can change the shape here. And then, yeah, so there's the two lines, right? So I need to go to look for my text because I want to write the letters there or the variables. So this will be A, right? So let me do this and then put it a bit close. And then this will be B, right? So A, before it's passed into exclusive OR, right? Or XOR, it's inverted, meaning it's not of A, then it's passed into XOR. B is passed as it is. You see, it's traveling via this line as it is. We don't change it. And then underneath it, because remember, if you look at our question paper, we have AND. So that means these two things will be combined by an AND logic gate. So I'm going to do this side now, which is C or D, which is that one. That one is a bit straightforward. So under general, minimize this, minimize that, then go to logic gates. It's just OR, right? So it has to be this one. So I'm going to try to put it here, right, like this. So there's OR, and you can notice the difference between exclusive OR, which is XOR, and OR. The two differences is that XOR, it has a small curvy line after underneath that shape. That's the only difference between them. So this would be OR, and then this would be XOR. And then we need to stretch the lines to make the diagram look neat. And then stretch the line here. I honestly don't know how they do it inside the deer. I'll check. We'll see if we can find a way to do it in deer because they're most probably not gonna allow you to use this one. Because to get raw.io, you have to open your browser. So I'm sure they wouldn't want that. So I'm gonna have this one. This will be C, right? And then D. So as you can see, for C or D, it's passed as it is. There's no inverting or anything like of that nature. This one is also passed as D. You pass it as it is. And then now we need to combine these two. So I'm going to highlight, I need to combine this expression and this expression into one expression by using an AND logic gate. So that means this is the AND. So I'm going to click the AND and put it there like this, right? Which will represent, so and then I have to connect. So this will just be, okay, let me think. The diagram, yeah, it should be fine. So like this, and then this one comes here like this. So this is how I would approach it. I think this is exactly how it should be. So to read this, right, you're gonna say A, not A. So this will be not A, and then this will be B as it is, and they're both combined by an XOR, which is exactly this over here. So we have not A, XOR, and then B to get that, which is this first portion over here, right? Then we have the second portion, which is just C or D. Then both of these expressions, this and okay, let me do this. And then minimize. So both of these, right, they're supposed to be combined with an AND logic gate, which is this over here. And the AND logic gates expects you to pass two expressions. So I passed the first one, as you can see, it's traveling there. Then I passed the second one, as you can see, it's traveling there. So this will be the overall design. So let me do this. So this will be the overall design of the logic gate, of the logic, yeah, I think it's called logic gate, right? Circuit diagram. So that would be the whole circuit diagram, like this. Now, I don't know how you do it inside DA because I don't see the lines. DA is too simplistic. I don't see the lines. Oh, I can't choose it. How come? Yeah, I can see the lines, but I don't see how to stretch it out. Yeah, I don't have experience with DA like that. So you guys have to try and remember in class how they did it using DA. Let me see if I can. Yeah, if there was an option for me to like change the shape, like to change the shape of the line, then it would be easy because I can just choose any line, double click, and change the shape, just like I was doing in draw.io. But in Deer, I don't know how to do that. So this will be the whole circuit diagram. So it's not A was this was A originally, then it became not A, meaning we converted it to not A before it was passed to XOR. Then B is passed into XOR as it is. So this will be not A, XOR B. Then this will be C or D. And then they get both passed into AND. So that means they're combined with an AND. So there's an AND in between them. So this will be the left expression. This will be the right expression. Basically, the expression on the right-hand side, which is exactly this over here. So I hope that's clear. Okay, before we continue, let me do this. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So we're done with that diagram. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a way to export it as an image. So I'm going to say export as PNG, right? Let me choose SVG. Export. I'm going to say this is a circuit diagram. And then save. Then I'm going to open and see where it's saved or it's saved under downloads. Then I'm going to go inside my Microsoft Word. Then I'm going to go, oh no, I'm going to click on insert, then go to pictures, then go to this device to insert an image. Then I'm going to go to where the image is stored, which is my downloads folder. Select the image and then click insert. And then there's my diagram. So that'll be the circuit diagram. So this will be A, right? The answer for A. And then B, we're going to create its own diagram. We're going to create the code diagram for B. So this will be the logic gate. So we're done with Deer, with draw.io, I mean. Then I'm going to use Deer now for the if statements, for the UML diagram for the if statements. So according to your diagram, guys, the way they did it is you're going to have an initial state, right, which is just a black circle. That's the initial state. Like initial meaning initially when the program starts. It's going to be like this. Then we look at our question and what's required of us in the question paper. So using an appropriate UML notation model, or using an appropriate UML notation, model the following. The Utopian Department of Communicable Diseases, UCD, requires assistance in measuring and outputting an appropriate response for the current outbreak of the disabling procrastination virus. So we're just looking to output an appropriate message, right? That's basically the main aim of this. That's the main thing we're trying to solve. An appropriate response is measured against the three factors, each measured on a scale from 0 to 100. So it's measured against three factors. So there's three factors or three things that you must measure it against. It's the level of deadlines, the level of missed deadlines, and then the level of excuses, right? And then they put in parentheses the percentage, basically how much it weighs. That's important. Those percentages are important because if you look at the following question, it says the following responses are introduced depending on the weighted average, right? So this means that by weighted average, this means that I need to add up all this. If you remember what an average is, you add up all the values basically to get a sum, then divide by how many things you've added. That's how you calculate an average. Or in statistics we call that a mean. So that means I'm gonna have level of deadliness. What is it? Deadliness. Yeah, deadlines. English. Deadlines, level deadlines, this is 10%, right? And then missed deadlines. So missed deadlines. I think it's 40% if I'm not mistaken. Then we're left with 50% level of excuses. Level of excuses, 50%. So to get the average, you just add up all of these. Let's assume that they were variables. So we'd add up all these three variables and then divide them by 3. But then before we add them, we need to take a percentage out of it first, because if you look at the parentheses or the brackets, it says that each factor has its own weighting. So that means I shouldn't take all of it. Basically, I shouldn't take the full amount. I should take a certain percentage of that amount before calculating the average. So that means you're going to have level. So I'm going to just name it level of deadlines, right? So this will be the actual formula times 10, no times, yeah. Or you can just say 0.10 like this. This will be 10%, right? So, or basically 0.1, right? You can do that, or you can just say 10 over 100. That's up to you. So I'm just going to say 0.1, 10. I'll just round it off to 2 decimal places, plus missed deadlines, times 0.40 like this, plus level of excuses times 0.50. And then once I've added up all of these values, I get a sum, right? And then that sum, I divide it by 3. But then, okay, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I divide it by 3, and then let's say this is int sum. No, not int. Let's make it a double. Sum is equals to all of this, then semicolon. So I'm going to add up all of them to get a sum. Then that sum I divided by 3 to get an average. I'm storing it as a double because I want it in a double notation, meaning in decimal notation. I don't want to lose accuracy, because you see the values that I'm multiplying by doubles. So that means I expect the result to also be a double. Then that sum I divided by 3 to get the average. Then that average, that's what you're going to use to compare, to check if that average is within this range, or it's within this range, or it's within that range. And then if it is out of range, right, then an error has occurred. So we must output an error, basically. There's one thing that I'm not entirely sure about this question, right? I don't know, they were supposed to, how to put it, they're supposed to tell you that, for example, where are we getting these values? That's my question. That's what I want to know. I want to know where we're getting those values. Are we getting them from the user or they're already there? I know another important thing to check is that it's only for 5 marks. So I'm assuming you shouldn't, but I don't, yeah, I don't want to assume. The thing is, you should follow the question. It didn't state that we are getting get these factors from the user. And then after getting these factors, calculate the average. And then after calculating the average, then compare. It didn't say. So it's like, I don't know whether we should assume that they are there or not. So yeah, I think it's entirely up to you here because they didn't clarify. It's up to you which approach you use. Are you going to make a diagram whereby you start getting these values as inputs from the user first? After getting them, then you calculate the average. After calculating the average, then you do comparisons. So I don't know which approach you guys are going to take, but I'm thinking let's just get them as inputs. It's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just say get the level of deadlines, get the level of missed deadlines, get the level of excuses. So it's fine. Now do it. I don't know. Maybe you'd have to ask your lecturer to confirm, but that's how I'm choosing to approach it. Then I'm gonna choose the activity, right? Yeah, I won't choose date. I don't know. I don't know the I don't think there's that much of a difference, but I'll choose the activity because something is happening, right? There's an activity happening, which is I'm gonna get level of deadlines, right? And then put it in the middle like this. And then I need to put in the line from there till here, then center it. So there's okay, so I get the level of deadlines. You could, you see, that's the thing. This question is so open-ended. You could, right? But then the thing is, your diagram is gonna be long, right? It's gonna be very long. Why am I saying so? Like each of this score of this value should be within that range. So you have to check if it's within that range or not, and then exit. So that means after each and everything, you are checking if it's in the range, then exit. So I'm not sure if that's something that should be done or what, but let me just actually make the full diagram. It's gonna be a long diagram, I'm not gonna lie, but I was just gonna show you that how would the full diagram look because they can't put this range on purpose. They can't just put it this range for fun. They can just put it there just for fun. They put it there for a specific reason. Maybe they want to test if you understand that you can use if statements to check if it's within the range or not. So I'm going to do this, go back to my diagram. After getting the level of deadlines, right? I'm going to check if it's within the range. So basically I'm going to have this over here, the branch should be here, right? And then I'm going to have a line from there up into the branch. Then I'm going to shift this to align it. Then I'm going to have when it's true, when it's false. So how do I demonstrate that? You just basically put in ranges. So the way they showed you in the way they did it in the diagrams, I don't know. I think they used yeah, I think they used draw.io, but it's fine. I'll use this one. So I'm gonna draw another line here from here to there, right? It's fine. I'll just leave it like this for now. And then here to there. Okay, let me attach it. And then from here to there. See, since you guys, I think you guys are using pen and paper, so this not be a problem. You don't waste time trying to figure out these things. And then you choose text because you want to put in text there. So the text that I want to put in is I want to check if it's within the range um of what is this of 0 to 100 inclusive, meaning including both ends, right? So let me see. Did I actually, let me just give me a minute. Let me delete this. Let me just check something. Refresh. Okay, I don't see it. So I'm just going to do it my own way. Let me see. How can I represent the range? Okay, it's fine. So I'm just gonna say level of deadlines. I'm gonna ask if it's so on the left side, that means it is actually within the range. So let's assume it is that way. So the way I'm going to make my diagrams, right? I'm gonna assume the left-hand side represents true when a specific condition is true. The right-hand side represents when it's false. So that's how I'm going to do it. So this will be level of deadlines is greater than or equals to 0, and level of deadlines is less than or equals to 100, right? So this is the case. This is the assumption that if then it becomes very long. But yeah, just that's how I'm going to do it because it's actually that long. So if it's like this on the left hand side, it would mean that that's when this is true. Basically, this is within the range. If it's not, then I don't know, maybe output an error or something. Yeah, so if it's not, I'm gonna have an activity this side. And my activity, maybe I'll just say what is it, exit program with an error or something. Right, so it's gonna exit the program with an error. So yeah, right, exit the program with an error. It is going to be a very long diagram, like very long. Now I'm doubting. Yeah, let's not put it. Hey, it's gonna be long diagram. It will be very correct, right? It will be like the most correct diagram. But you see that there's consequences to trying to be perfect. You can have a very long diagram because after this, right? Remember, it exits the program, so I need to put in another circle here to say that the program is ended. And then on this side, when everything is correct, then it continues down. So here it's gonna be like this. Let me think. I, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if the diagram is gonna fit, but it's fine. Let me take my precious time and do it. So here everything is fine. So when everything is fine, what's the next thing that we need to do? We actually just need to get the next value, which is the level of missed deadlines. So get level of missed deadlines, right? That's the next thing that we get because that means that value is valid or was valid. So it's in the right range. So we can continue with our program. But I haven't written the condition here on the side. So what condition would force it to go on that side? So I need to put in text there. So let me do this like this. And then I'm just going to shift it a bit to the side and then move to the side like this to have some space there. Yeah, this is the worst thing ever. Diagrams, I don't like them. So I'm gonna have put it here and say level. Um, Let me not actually name it level. I think the name is too long. If I say level, because see now the names the text becomes way too long. So I'm just gonna call it deadlines. Let's just say deadlines. So deadlines is greater than or equals to 0, and deadlines is less than or equals to 100. If it was up to me, I'd just say lines because yeah, just don't want to have a very long text. So click here. And then this side, it means that deadlines was So if it's in the right range, that means it's at least greater than or equals to 0 and less than or equals to 100, right? If it wasn't the case, it means that it was either less than 0 or it was more than 100. That's when it would be incorrect, the input. So I'll say deadlines was either less than 0 or I think you can use, yeah, I'm not sure what approach you can use. Like, can you use the actual code to say or you just, yeah, let me just write it as or. Here you can just write and, like A-N-D. So or deadlines is greater than 100, right? And then I'm gonna scroll to this side. So the condition that will make my program stop, it's when deadlines was either less than 0 or it was greater than 100. That means it was outside the range that was expected. So I need to exit the program. And to stop a program, you need to indicate that the program is stopped by putting that circle over there. So I'm gonna scroll down a bit, then put it somewhere here, then double click on it, because to exit a program, the circle that represents the program that represents that the program is stopped or exited. It's a circle whereby like there's a, let me show you the shape. So let me click yes, and then the line color. Let me see. Line color should be, I think, white. Should it be white? And then fill color should be black. Let me apply and see. No, that's not the one. So, no. Let me see. Yeah. So the line color should be black. And then the fill color is white. So yeah, those are the combinations to get the closing, and then click OK. So this indicates that the program is stopped, right? To close the program, then you draw the line there. So I'm gonna grab a line on the side, attach it there, and then also attach it there. Then click, move this to the left, and then my program stops. So that when it's out of range, and then I'm gonna have to do this two more times. So you see why I said it's better to just avoid it and not check the ranges, and then assume the user is gonna put the right ranges. That'll be the short version of it. But we don't want to do assumptions. So get the level of missed deadlines. Then those missed deadlines, they should be in the right range too. So so yeah, so this is fine. They need to be in the right range. And then I need to draw a line from there to there, and then straighten it up. And then I'm gonna have lines from the left and the right, and text. Okay, so let me put text to represent missed deadline. So missed. So this will be missed deadlines, right? Is greater than or equals to 0, and missed deadlines is less than or equals to 100. So this will be the case when it's in the right range. So I'm gonna put this. See, this is why I don't like this thing. Dear, I know this is horrible. This is a horrible app. See, now my thing went that side. Let me zoom out and then do this. Yeah, you see how far it went. So I have to put it back here, right? And then okay. Yeah, what? So I see someone who has a question. Yeah, you can unmute and ask a question, or you can type. It's your choice.
So I think we should use the like to do next, especially for the runtime. That at the end.
I can't hear you at all. Can you type? There should be a chat section. Can you type? So let me see if I can make it show on your side. So just respond here and type, explain it. The thing is, you guys are now being taught by Dr. Stungu, so I don't, he's not that type of guy, or from my understanding, he's not the type of guy to just skip things. So that's why I'm doing it thoroughly. Can you explain? It's okay, let's just wait for him to type. The thing is, I don't even know whether this thing does show when someone's typing, or you just wait for the message to come through.
So, like, what I'm trying to say is that we should use the inequalities just like we do in maths, like
Uh,
special
for
for the ones with end. Yes.
Yeah, the what do you mean the inequalities? Like the range, what is this thing? The inequalities.
Okay,
Um,
so say like
can you elaborate on that? Can you
okay, like instead of writing missed deadlines is greater or equal to 0 and missed deadlines is less than or equal to 100, you can simply write one
oh
missed deadlines and then you
like
understand?
okay, okay, I get you, I get you. Yeah, that
Okay.
the thing is, I'm not sure if that's a the thing is I was just looking at the example in the whatever that someone sent me a screenshot of an example of how they want you guys to do this thing. So I'm not sure if does the right way or the wrong way. I'm just gonna do it anyway. So like we can just
Okay.
do this and say missed. Once you're done, you can just mute. So I'm gonna say missed deadlines and then less than equals to. So it's in between zero. Yeah, this is actually a short version. I'm not sure if it's correct on like this is how you guys should do it. That's what I'm trying to say. But this is other way you can do it to make it a bit shorter. So thanks for the input. So the other ones you can, yeah, I'm not gonna change the other ones. You understand this method, right? So I'm just gonna leave it like that. So yeah, I'm gonna have this one. Yeah, this one I can't. Yeah, I can't. For this one, I don't have a choice. I can't write it in this form. All I have to do, because this one is it's one of two conditions. So deadlines, what happens to be greater than what is this, less than zero, or missed. Okay, let me show the side. Missed deadlines happens to be greater than 100. So it was one of those conditions. So this will be when this is the case, meaning it was outside of the range. This side meaning it is within the range. If it is within the range, then we continue and we get the next value. And then here I'm gonna put it a bit up. Then we get the next value. So here we're gonna get what level of what excuses. So here we're gonna get level of excuses, right? And then we do this pretty much the same thing. Do this pretty much the same thing. I'm gonna put it here. Oh no, when it was okay, when it was right, we go this side, we get the next input. If it was wrong, we exit the program. And then here up until there, right? And then this will be here like this. And then if it was this case, meaning it was outside the range, then we exit the program. So I need to, let me just copy this. So delete, copy, put it here. But then before I exit, I need to say that it should do something. So it should exit program with, okay, let me just be specific and say with range error, right? Let me just put it that way. Let's say, assume that there's a constant named range error. So it's gonna exit and then from here to there, and then attach it to this, and then another line. Let me, a bit up, and then another line from here to there, and then align it. I like my thing straight, so yeah, I need to make sure all of my lines are straight, else I'm gonna feel uneasy. So get the level of excuses, because yeah, students like to make excuses. Say, hey, this and that. Yeah, we're gonna get to excuses here. So get the excuses, get the line, put the line there, attach it, then make it straight, and then take text, put it this side. So this is I'm gonna just make it short and say excuses. So excuses is between the range, excuses is between the range 0 to 100. So this will be the case on this side. And then on the other side, it's when it's out of range. So text here. So this will be excuses was either less than 0 or excuses was greater than 100. That means 0, it was out of range. So this will be this side, and then we exit the program, right? So yeah, there's still quite a long way to go. So let's continue. So we have this, and then what's the next thing to do is the lines. So I'm gonna need to attach a line here. Just leave it there for now, and then attach a line this side. Come on, attach a line here. And then we do the next thing. So what is the next thing? So let's start with when it's out of range, when it's this side. Right, when it's out of range, we need to exit the program. So to make my life easy, I'm just gonna copy this and paste it here, and copy this and paste it. Dear, one wrong move. Now, yeah, so here it exits the program. So from here to here, right? And then there's the line from here to here, and then make it straight, and then done, right? So we're done validating. So now this is when everything is correct. Then when everything is correct, we need to calculate weighted average. So I'm just going to write it as text, right? Remember, you don't have to write actual formulas here. You're just writing steps. So I'm just going to say calculate weighted average. Then link it here. Then make it like this. Okay, this is fine. Make it straight, and then put this one over here, right? So there's a weighted average we calculated. After calculating it, then this is really annoying. Then we check the ranges, right? So it needs to be within the range, this range, or this range, or this range. If it's outside of range, an error should okay. So we should output an error. So yeah, it should output an error, meaning it's not within the range. So the way I'm going to do it, let me think, how am I going to structure it? So we're gonna have the right range that side. If it's out of range, oh, if it's out of that range, then we do the next comparison. Yeah. So I'm just gonna name the weighted average just be represented as average. So I'm gonna call it average to make my diagram short. What is the text short? So after calculating weighted average, we're gonna need to do some checks, right? So I need to put the diamond there to do the checks, then put the line here from here to there, right? Then one of two things can be in the right range. So I'm going to say average. So I'm going to use that formula. So it's between 0, including 0. So greater than or equals to 0, but strictly less than 50. So this is when it's in the right range, this side. Ish, dear, idea really pisses me off. So you put it this side, right? And then we take the next thing is, yeah, it's when it's outside the range. Meaning it could one of the above, I don't know. Let me see. If it's less than, okay, so it's not allowed to be less than 0. Mm, oh, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. So I'm just gonna say if average is less than 0 or average is greater than 50, we do the next comparison. Basically, it's when it's not within this range, we do the next comparison. So, what do I need? I need an activity. So it needs to output a message. So let's see. So if it was in the right range, so I need to output this message. So I'm gonna copy it. So copy, and then back to my diagram, paste, and then paste this. Then I'll just say display, right, to say that this should display that string if that was the case. So display, put it here, then put a line. Yeah, this is really annoying. Then put it here. So this is when it's in the right range. You should display this. And after displaying that, that means it was in the right range, that we found what we're looking for. We exit. Because if you look at these if statements, right, it can only be one of the conditions. So if one of them satisfies, meaning that it was true, we simply exit. Because this way, this if statement, right, the way you're going to write it, the next question actually asks you to write it. The way you would have written the if statement, you would have said if average, right, blah blah blah, you check, and then you're gonna have an else if, meaning that after checking this, check this. So when you have an if statement accompanied by an else if, right, what happens is that it chooses one of the conditions. So if at least one of them is true, it stops immediately. So you need to understand if statements, how they work. So since I understand that, I know I need to exit because my work is done here. Then I'm gonna do this. So after doing this here, I need to exit because my work is done. Take the line, and then I put it down here, and then make it straight, and then go back to this side now. When it's out of range, what should happen? Oh no, let me not do this. Yeah, let me not phrase it that way. No, let me see. Should I phrase it this way? Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, let me phrase it this way. I'm just picturing the diagram in my head. So I was confirming with the design in my head. So after doing this, if it's incorrect, we go this side. After going this side, we need to check a different range. Yeah, we need to check a different range. How should I? Okay, it's fine. I'll do it. This is very, yeah, I haven't done this diagrams in a while. So what I'm going to do is, if this is incorrect, it's going to go in this direction, right? No, yeah. So it's going to go in this direction. Then we do the next thing. So what is the next thing is another question. So I have to put in this, then put it there on top, like this. So if that wasn't the case, then we go to the next comparison, right? To the next if statement or condition. Then we compare, we check again. So what are we checking? Which range are we checking now? we are checking if it is between 50, including 50, and 75, excluding 75. So, okay, so since now I include my double quotes, it's fine. I'll just copy everything, including the double quotes. So after checking here, then this side is definitely going to be representing when it's true. So put it this side, and I'm going to say display this when it was true, which is this side. So I'm going to put it here, and then I put a line from here up until here, right? And then I put in text to explain what range it is in, or what question was asked. So was average in between this range 50, including 50, meaning greater than or equals to, but strictly less than 75, meaning excluding 75. Then I'm gonna put it there at the top. And then remember what I said, the way we're structuring the if statements. If everything went well, that means that if any of the if conditions of any if statement become true, we immediately exit. So I need to take my symbol for exiting. Yeah, there it is here, and then draw a line right here, and then to the left to make it straight. And then now we check when it's false. So when is it false? It's false when average was one of these. Average was either greater than no, the only one that can be the right. Yeah, I need to phrase my questions. Yeah, I need to phrase these things different. The only reason why we would go this side, it's when average was greater than yeah, they said less than 75. So when average was greater than or equals to 75, that's the reason that will make us go in that direction. We can't say less than 50 because, do you know why I'm not including less than 50? Because 50 is there. So if it was less than 50, it would have been true. So there's no need to put it there. And then here, like I said, here I made a mistake. I need to only say when it was greater than 50. So average was greater than or equals to 50. That would force us to move in that direction because we are assuming that we have no average less than 0. That's the assumption here, right? Positive values. So just simply change that to average was greater than or equals to 50. So we moved in that direction. So we know that 50, moving this direction, average is at least 50 or more. Then we check average again to check in what actual range is it in. And then I move this side now. If it was between 50, including 50, and 75, excluding 75, then would output a specific message. On this side, since we said this side, it has to be less than 75. That means going in this direction, it has to be at least 75 and above. So that's why I'm writing that note there. So you just simply need to understand logic and how to think and phrase your questions properly. So it's going to move in that direction and then it joins. Then we ask another question here. So it's fine. Let me do it like this. Let me put it like this, right, with a bit of space there. Then I'm going to have a line from here to here. And then I'm going to have this, the top like this. Then this should be a bit to the left, I think. Then, yeah, this is really a drag. Is it Shikamaru? I forgot. No, it's not Shikamaru. What's his name? I'm forgetting this other guy. There's a guy in anime like like saying such a drag. Yeah, he doesn't like. That guy is very lazy. So it's at least greater than 70. Basically, it is 70 or more. So let's check here this side. So it has to be in between 75 and 100, including both bounds, right? Both upper bound and lower bound. So I'm going to put here and say average between 75 and 100. So that's when we would have to move in this direction. And then we should display what message? People must implement a 2-day notification. That's the message you must display. Then activity. And then I'm going to say display this. Right. And then I'm going to put a line from here to there. And then I'm going to put it a bit up so that it looks proper. And then I'm just going to stretch it like this a bit. And then I put the note there like this, right? And then like, remember what I said, when any condition is true, the program stops. So I'm going to copy this and put it down there to show that the program stops when it was true. Then I'm going to take the line, put it down. Come on. Take the line, attach it there, then attach it here, and then straighten the line. Then here, right, on this side, this direction, that means it is not less than or equals to 100. That means it's more. Or it could be the case that it's, yeah, there's one of two cases here. So if we look at the beginning of our conditions, right, we started at checking if it's at least greater than or equals to 0. So that was the minimum. And then if we go down here, the maximum or stopping point is 100. So that means the only reason would go this side, it's one of two reasons. When average was less than 0, meaning it's a negative number, or average was too big, meaning greater than 100. So we have one of those cases that side. So I'm going to put here and say average was either less than 0 or average was greater than 100, more than what we expected. So it was less than what we expected or more than what we expected. That could be the only reason why it's going in that direction. And then they told you in the question paper that if score is out of range, an error has occurred. So that means an error. So you must indicate that some error occurred. So I'm going to say exit program with range error, because it's a problem. This is a problem that involves ranges because we're out of range. Or you can say out exit program with out of range error. That's also up to you. And then I'm gonna put the line. Yeah, this was a very long diagram, not gonna lie. And then there we go. Then we need to exit the program. So I need to scroll down here, grab the shape, and drag it this side, put it here, and then put a line like this that goes down here, and then make it straight. And then done. This is everything. This is a full diagram. Let me zoom out a bit. You see how complicated this diagram is. There's a lot of checks going in place and you have to understand your logic. So let me export the file, right? So I'm gonna go the image. So export, I'm gonna go to file and then I'm gonna click export. Then I'm gonna choose the location first. So let me save it on desktop to make my life easy. Then I'm gonna choose the file type. See under file type here, you just click this down arrow like this, then you choose the file type. I would rather use something called Scalable Vector Graphics, SVG, because I forgot, I was reading on this thing, I forgot, yeah, I read about this thing a long time ago. So the difference between a PNG and a scalable vector image graphic or image, right? Oh yeah, I think, yeah, a scalable vector graphics, right, image, it actually uses mathematical formulas to create the image. So that means even if you zoom into an image, you don't lose quality. So that's why I always choose SVG. So you're going to choose Cairo Scalable Vector Graphics or .svg. Click that, then give your diagram a name. So this my diagram is based on if statements. So I'm just going to call it if statements and then click save. So the diagram has now been exported as an SVG image under desktop. So now I'm going to go here and then select any area. Make sure you select it somewhere so that it inserts or adds that image there. So go to insert, click on pictures, click on device, then go to desktop, click on the image that you saved, click insert, and then there's my diagram. There's quite a lot going on, as you can see. This is a very long diagram, but it handles every case. Now, the last question is to translate this diagram into the actual code. So yeah, there's a lot involved. So let me do this. Yeah. So this would be so for now, let me just do this. So let's end the session now because there's there's a lot going on and I feel like you guys are probably tired now. It's 1 hour. So let me try to make this today's session short. So this will be the full diagram. And then I'm gonna send the answers in the group chat. So I'm gonna save this document and send it in the group chat. And then you can even zoom into the image, right? You never loses quality. So if you see something, right, let me zoom in a lot. So you see that the quality is not lost. If it was a PNG, yeah, it starts being a bit blurry. The image starts being a bit blurry. So you also start not being able to read the words if it was a PNG. That's why I use scalable vector graphics image because that one is a bit easier. It's a bit better in terms of quality. So yeah, we'll continue with question 4 and 1. Question 5 should be straightforward because we're just translating what's in the diagram to code. That's it. You do not need to handle errors except out of range error is already except the out of range error has already been mentioned in question 4b. You may assume that the different levels are available from the standard input stream. Yeah, so you see why it's important to always read everything. You see here, they say you may assume that the different levels are available from the standard input stream. You do not need to handle errors. So that means assume that the levels you're getting them as input. So that means we had the right assumption here. So since this question papers, they structured exactly the same way. When you get to question 4b, right? When you read here and it doesn't tell you whether you're supposed to get input or anything, scroll down to question 5. There should be a hint about where you're getting the values from. Once you found that hint, that means when you're now making your diagram, you need to take into account for inputs. So they say that you may assume that the different levels are available from the standard input stream, meaning that assume that the values you're getting them from the user. But then they tell you that you do not need to handle errors. So you don't handle any errors, except the out of range error already mentioned in question 4b. Oh, so they say you shouldn't handle any errors. Which errors are they talking about? This one over here. Is this 0 to 100? Yeah, I think even in the diagram, you shouldn't have handled that error because, like I said, if the marks are low, that means they don't expect a very big diagram. So from now on, just know that we not when you do the next question paper, we're not going to validate the ranges. We're going to assume that they're validated because it's only for 5 marks. But if it was for 10 marks, this diagram, the UMO diagram, then would definitely put the validation. But they also said that yeah, if you check the question, they'll say that the only error you should handle is this one that was mentioned, which you should handle, which is the out of range. So how would you handle the out of range in code? It's simple. Remember, in if statement, you're going to have if else, and then another condition. Then we have else for when it was none of the above. So this is where you'd handle that error. It's under else. the else part. So we'll continue with that in the next session. So I'll just send you guys the answers right now in the group chat. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorial. So let me just stop recording now, and then I'll take questions if you guys have any questions. So do you guys